You're listening to Big Zoo Nation. I'm Big Zoo himself, aka Billy Cash, and let me tell you what's going on in the zoo today. Oh man, it looks like Donald Trump was asked in a press conference today, would he pardon P. Diddy? And he looks at the ceiling and he looks side to side and he says he hasn't looked at the case, but he was thinking about it. And he also said that he was wondering when Puff Daddy's people would reach out to him, but they haven't reached out to him yet. And he was saying with the side eye, I think they're thinking about it. I think they're thinking about reaching out to me. So we have to think about this in different terms. Puff Daddy and Trump has been friends for decades. They're both New Yorkers. They both had a similar line of success. Not a similar line of success. You know, Trump was born into money and Puff Daddy kind of clawed his way to the top or slept his way to the top. I mean, whatever it is. They both ran in similar circles. And especially how Puff Daddy always had the parties that had New York jumping. Now, at the end of the day, I feel like Donald Trump gave a dog whistle like, hey, if you guys come with the right amount of money, then I will pardon Puff. That's what it sounds like to me. And if you look at it, Donald Trump has been on a pardoning spree. He's actually pardoned NBA Youngboy. He pardoned Larry Hoover, king of the Growth and Development Group, if I said that right, from Chicago. And even by him pardoning Larry Hoover, it still doesn't mean that he'll be free because he still has state charges. He cleared him of the federal charges, but he has state charges where he'll still have to spend like 200 years in jail. So, you know, that's up to the state of Chicago. But with the Puff Daddy thing is interesting because I always thought that Trump would pardon Puff. I would think that at a certain point, Trump would probably pardon Puff maybe at the end of his term. Maybe in 2028. But the way things are looking right now, I think Trump would pardon Puff right now if I'm trying to clock my words right here. If the purse was big enough. Because let's be honest, I feel like there's a purse involved in all of these pardons. Trump has pardoned Julie Chrisley and Todd Chrisley, reality television stars. He's pardoned them of tax evasion and defrauding banks of $30 million and a host of others. It is in his wheelhouse to pardon Puff because it looks like he's dog whistling to the team like, hey, I'll pardon this man, but it has to be for a certain dollar amount. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know. Trump is on a pardoning spree. Is this in line with his policies? He's flipping the government upside down. I don't know, gang. I mean, do you think that Trump will actually pardon Puff? Let me know in the comments. Y'all check out some video on this. And this is Big Zoo Nation. We gone.
Back when you hosted The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of, that relationship busted up from what I read. I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So, I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
A Utah pharmacist is upset that the man who admitted breaking into his pharmacy has been let off the hook.
Yeah, rapper NBA Youngboy was pardoned by President Trump. News special Shelby Lofton spoke with the former business owner about his frustrations.
The president didn't explain why he pardoned the rap star. NBA Youngboy's record includes drug fraud and weapons charges, both federally and at the state level.
My very first gut reaction to hearing that it was pardoned was, what a terrible lesson to teach your boys.
This Utah pharmacist was not happy to learn rapper NBA Youngboy is now a free man. The performer, whose given name is Kentrell Golden, was serving a 23-month sentence for federal gun charges. Before that, he paid a $25,000 fine for his involvement in a prescription drug fraud ring.
And he got all the hydrocodone.
In 2023, at least 16 pharmacies across Utah and other states were broken into,
Each one of those stores lost somewhere between $15,000 and $30,000.
including Cache Valley Pharmacy, which Phil Cowley owned at the time.
This is where he gets caught in the door, and this is where he wishes he wore a belt.
So the windows I had to replace took my whole month's worth of earnings from me.
Golden was also involved with fraud calls, where callers disguise their voice to ask for promethazine with codeine. Cowley told us it's often used to make something called purple drink.
And as soon as they caught him, everything stopped. And so now, is he going to do it again?
Golden's attorney also worked with President Trump in a 2022 election interference investigation in Georgia.
Just to get pardoned because you know the right people? I mean, what lesson does that teach anybody?
On Instagram, the rapper thanked the president, saying the pardon allowed him to keep building as a man, a father, and an artist.
Well, then be a man. You have the money. Go help the businesses you hurt.
Golden has homes in both Huntsville and Mill Creek. In Salt Lake City, Shelby Lofton, KSL 5 News.
After 51 long years of the Gangster Disciples founder Larry Hoover being locked up, today President Trump decided to pardon him, but that doesn't mean he 100% coming home. Here's why. This whole thing has been in the making since 2018 when Kanye West and Drake publicly advocated for Hoover's release. Kanye even went to the White House and discussed the release of Larry with Trump, but with all that, nothing ever happened. Larry has been eligible for parole, and his last request was denied last year. He was serving 2 separate convictions. In 1973, he was convicted by the state and got 200 years. But in 1997, he was convicted again, this time by the federal government for running the Gangster Disciples from behind bars. He was sentenced to 6 life sentences. Since Trump pardoned his federal sentence, he no longer has to serve time for the feds, but he still has to serve time for the state. The only way for him to come home is if he gets parole, or the governor of Illinois grants him clemency, which is a state-level pardon. I think the man has a few more years to live and should spend it with his family. What do y'all think?